Hey everybody, welcome to 1 week later. Today we have Fear the Wolves. And if you're not familiar with Fear the Wolves, it is a Battle Royale game from Vostok Games. They also created Survarium. Now, Fear the Wolves takes place in a radiation-ravaged Chernobyl, as if there were any other type, right? Now, anyone who's played a Battle Royale game before is going to be pretty familiar with this game. You're going to load into a spot of your choosing, and then you're off to the races. You're going to get gear, you're going to find weapons, and you're going to start moving towards the center of the map. Of course, there are some differences as Vostok Games tries to create a battle royale of their own. First off, there is no circle. There are square zones that go radiated, and these eventually spread to other square zones and push you towards the middle of the map. Now, each zone has two forms of radiation sickness. The first one being adrenaline sickness, which you have to run or you will start to take radiation damage, and the second part being a fully radiated zone, which will hurt you more and constantly. Now, along the way to the middle of the map, there are certain pitfalls and NPCs that you have to worry about. There are environmental pitfalls, such as anomalies, which, if you walk through them, will cause you massive amounts of damage. There are also radiation zones. You can get radiation hazmat suits and oxygen and traverse these zones if you'd like to, but there are flowers in these zones that will wreck your day. Now, along with the environmental pitfalls, there are also NPCs in this game. There are the namesake wolves, and there are supposedly mutants. Now, I say there are supposedly mutants because in my hours and hours in this game, I have never come across a single mutant. I'm not even sure if they are in this build of the game or if they are to be added later and are just shown in screenshots to hype it up a little bit more. Although I'm not too worried about it, with the wolves being the complete assholes that they are in this game. They are tanky and they are bullet sponges. They will soak up all of your ammo given the chance, and maybe you've only killed 2 or 3 out of a whole pack of 5 or so. Headshots don't seem to do any extra damage on them, and even at close range they will take 2 to 3 shotgun shells point blank to get downed. And yes, I am complaining about this. In a game where ammo is rare, to have an enemy that takes up most of your ammo is kind of a pain in the ass. And I've died more to wolves than I have to anything else in this game. And while we're on the topic of wolves, let's go ahead and move into the artifacts. Now, there are 2 different artifacts in this game, one being the Wolf Matriarch Heart. While you have the Wolf Matriarch Heart in your possession, wolves will not aggro you. And I should say that new wolves will not aggro you. If a wolf was already aggroed on you, it will still continue to try and eat your face off. Now, while you have the Wolf Matriarch Heart in your possession, you can give it a squeeze and summon wolves to your aid. This only works against player characters, and there is no guarantee that it will work as it summons wolves that are in the area. So if there are no wolves, nothing is coming to your aid. And the second artifact is the Spore Artifact. This artifact allows you to see player characters that are in your vicinity, so you can hunt them down and kill them easier. I've personally never gotten one of these Spore Artifacts. They supposedly spawn in the radiated zones, but the flowers are a big enough deterrent that I really don't want anything to do with it. In terms of gameplay, there's nothing amazing here. It does use the Unreal 4 engine, so it is kind of nice. I have noticed a lot of screen tearing, kind of a lot of waiting. It does tend to make me motion sick, this game does, whereas other first-person shooters I've never had an issue with. There are also spots you can get stuck in. That means if you fall into a weird spot, and it looks like you can get out, but there's no vault prompt, you're kind of stuck there. Now, this has happened to me and a friend of mine, and it was kind of annoying as you've now not only lost all your progress in this match, you've lost the match because you can't get out. I've also played with friends whose games have frozen up on them, It doesn't freeze indefinitely, it'll only freeze for a second or two, but it is enough to get you killed. And this issue does not seem to be across the board, as I had never had any freezing on my end, but I have played with multiple people who have. And of course, what Battle Royale game would be complete without a cosmetic loot box system, where playing games nets you points that you can then use to buy cosmetics. Now, there does seem to be quite a range of cosmetics, from facial scars to watches on your wrist. Although there does seem to be no real money transactions after the initial buy of this game. I feel like this game tries to do a lot of different cool stuff, but it doesn't particularly excel in them, leaving it a very middle-of-the-road type of game. If this were still in early access, I could forgive quite a few things knowing that it's still a beta, but this is a fully released game, and it will cost you $20 full price. As far as recommendations go, I would not recommend this game at this time. With Battle Royale games already being oversaturated, this really needs something to make it stand out in this genre, and it really doesn't have that one killer feature that's going to make you forget about every other game that's already out there. The horror is done better in other games, such as Hunt Showdown, and the Battle Royale features are also done to death. So again, there's nothing that really pulls you in that's going to keep you there if you like a different game. The game itself just feels incomplete, buggy, and not quite up to snuff as a lot of the other polished BR games. Once again, I would not recommend this game, and I think that if you are in the search of a good BR game, that there are plenty to choose from, and this one isn't quite finished just yet.